Alright, so here is going to be part 2 of the Retropie save problem with saving to a USB. It's going to be a permanent solution that no matter when, how many times you reboot or whatever, it will always boot up with the permissions intact and ready. So I'm already SSH'd in. This is making this right after the last one. So let me just clear this page for you. And I'm just, for simplicity's sake, gonna go back to my home directory. You can do that by just pressing or by typing CD without anything after that, and that takes me back to my home. So, first thing we have to do is we have to find out some info about our thumb drive. We need to figure out its UUID, and then we also basically that's all we really need. So to do this, I'm gonna type sudo, not usu, sudo blkid, and there you're gonna see that you're gonna see a couple things. You're gonna see like your bootable drive and stuff like that. So you're gonna also need to know your type. That was the other thing you need to know. So here, you should know the name of your drive, and so you can find it easily. Also, like I said in the last one, where it's mounted is in that where it's mounted, or the ID is that dev SDA1 or SDB1. So it's labeled. Mine is called zip drive. And so you need to write down, remember, whatever you need to do, this UUID. And with the dash in there too. So, write down, I'm going to write down right now, so, 6466-D0. And you can tell, some computers are different, you can tell it's 0 because it got the dot in there. Now, you need to go and edit a specific file. And I'm going to edit it the quick way. You can either CD into directory and then just open it, or you can just open it and give the full file path, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use something called Nano, which is just a basic file editor. And again, for some reason you need root privileges on a Retropie, so we're going to sudo nano, and then it's /etc/fstab. That's going to take you into the file, and so down here I have already written this line, but basically, so to make it into effect, I'm going to get rid of that that pound sign. But basically, the pound sign is, if any of you ever coded or anything like that, that's in some languages that is a comment, which means it's code that doesn't get run. So you're gonna take you're gonna type UUID, all uppercase, equals, and then you're gonna put your ID in there with no space between the equals. So -6466D0CC. Now you're gonna say where you want this to be mounted. And so I want, like I showed you in the last video in the temporary fix, I want it to be mounted in /media/USB 0. And you're going to put the type. I don't know if I said it before, but you should have written down the type or remembered the type. If not, you can go back and see that right here the type is VFAT. So anyway, you can go in here, and so you type VFAT there, and spacing shouldn't matter too much, but just kind of line it up with the other ones. These are going to be in there by default. And then you're going to put your UID equals pi, comma, GID equals pi. You can also put 1000 or 1000 or whatever your ID is. I think the default's 1000 for pi though, but check your ID like I showed you before. You're going to put 00 after that. I'm honestly not sure what the 00 is going to do, but I know this is the working model. If any of you have some questions, I'll look into it more, but it's not a big issue. Anyway, and so to get out of this, you're gonna do Control X, and that's mine just went out because I didn't change anything. So let me go in here and I'm gonna put the comment back in. So if I do Control X, down here it's gonna say you've modified this, you want to save it. So you're going to click the Y, or press the Y button. Now it's going to ask you what do you want to call it. And you just want to overwrite your old file, so you press Enter. and then there it is. It's done. It's saved. Now I'm just going to go back in there and get rid of that. Now I'm going to reboot. Or, well, you know, first I'm going to show you what the permissions look like right now for my thumb drive. And so right now, as you can see right here, the folders in my thumb drive, the permissions are all root. Or the owners are all root, I should say. But yes, the permissions for Pi are not there. So now, if I reboot my Retropie, and that's going to go down for a reboot here, and I'm going to just let it sit here because sometimes it takes a little bit to pop up and run its boot commands. But once it reboots, what it's going to do is it's going to read that file as a config, or it's going to use it as a configuration file every time it boots up. And basically it's going to say, oh, is this thing plugged in? Okay, it's plugged in. Okay, now I know I want to have the permissions in the owner be Pi instead of root. So with those permissions, that will allow you to write to the file. Now I'm doing this assuming all of you guys know how to set up the config to for the emulator to write to the USB. But here, let me SSH in. I'm going to clear this so it's up at the top again. Now, if I ls, let's look at my permissions for that. You can see that now Pi is the owner, and the group Pi all are the owners of these folders in my USB, and now they have write permissions. And just as a little tip here, if you guys want me to make a whole other video about this, I can. But to get to the configuration file to point the save at the USB, you just have to go. I'll do sudo nano /opt retropie all lowercase configs /all /retro arch. And this is the config for the PSX, because that's the emulator I have on there. Anyway, so in here, right here, this will be commented out with these two will be commented out with these pound signs, and so you just uncomment it and then put the file path. And so the file path should be media USB, and then if you create a whole new folder, like I have created a whole new folder, PSX saved, or you can just say PSX or whatever your folder is called in there for a save state and the SRM, which is the in-game save. Anyway, that's just a little tip. So now you'll be able to save, no problem. So hope that helps all of you, and have fun with your Retropies, guys.